50 insane little details in Fortnite. This is the Bash Burner pickaxe, so while the fire is pretty tiny, it's easy to miss a mind-blowing detail. When you step into water, it'll extinguish the flame, and this works for all cosmetics. The tactical shotgun has been in the game for years, but nobody paid attention to this tiny green monitor on the side. If you zoom really far in, you'll notice it's playing a game of Snake. Everyone loves Baby Yoda, and it's easy to sit there and watch him be adorable, but if you wait long enough, he'll pull out random objects like the ball from the Razor Crest or a bowl of soup. Speaking of back bling, Skull Trooper set includes Ghost Portal, and it turns out this actually releases the spirits of other skins like Rex, Bright Bomber, and Rustlord. Make sure to look closely the next time you reload, because every bullet you put in your weapon can be customized. Depending on the wrap you've equipped, the bullet will change too. If you take Rocket Raccoon along for the ride, he is very interactive, from holding his breath underwater to spitting at people when you're knocked. An amazing detail can be found on Mancake, more specifically his head. In a match, the sun is glaring right at you, and with each passing minute, the butter will melt, getting smaller and smaller until it's completely gone. But I feel bad for the Stringles pickaxe. If there's one thing guitars are known for, it's getting smashed. Hitting things not only breaks the guitar, but his face becomes more and more bruised as you do it. A detail nobody talks about was at Steamy Stacks in Chapter 2. We knew this thing was powered by Kevin, but the POI was full of subtle details. I mean, look at the bushes. Leading up to the entrance, they are all cubes. If you find yourself in shadow mode, lurking in the sideways, or even with an alien parasite on your head, make sure to turn on voice chat because
you'll sound like this when talking to your teammates.
Midas is known for his golden touch. In fact, it spreads to every weapon or item he holds. But what happens when he's wearing gloves? On the Bodyguard LTM, every skin gets a pair of gloves, and when it comes to Midas, his gold touch stops working. It's just like the marshmallows and the toasty roast emote. If you spend a long time holding them over the fire, they burn out and need replacing. But you might need that fire to warm yourself up, because did you know that when you stand in a cold area, you can see your own character's breath? And there are some secret messages hidden in the license plates of your favorite Fortnite cars. The whiplashes are super fast, of course, while sedan beats walking. Taxis are harder to figure out, but it's a reference to the Power Play radio station. Bear pickup trucks are grisly, and even though police cars are gone, they had laws written on the back. If you use the popcorn emote while standing in water, they'll float on the surface for a second. In replay, you can see that your character is actually pushing the accelerator and brake pedals while you're driving. When it comes to a tank, you literally control it with levers from the inside. You would never see this in a normal game, and Fortnite added it anyway. Running over leaves in Chapter 4 will make them fly around, but this has been happening for a while, just not the way you think. In previous seasons, this would happen with confetti, where walking through it would cause it to have physics. I'm more impressed by the fact that Midas's golden touch extends past weapons and items. It turns out gas pumps also turn solid gold. It's not as subtle as the audio in Fortnite, which has an insane attention to detail. Every footstep you hear in the game is different. The obvious ones are when you're walking on different terrain, like roads, sand, and snow. But the type of shoes you wear also change it. Heels make different footsteps to something like boots. There are plenty of guns that are modeled after real-life weapons, and they work the exact same way. Shooting them actually makes the bullet casing fly out and land on the floor, and your character has proper trigger discipline while reloading. Once you use those bullets to eliminate someone, make sure to check out the kill feed, because there's some secret messages that only appear for special deaths. Dying on a shopping cart says, "You shopped till you dropped." Being crushed by the police car junk riff means you arrested yourself. If you somehow get run over by your own quad crasher, you forgot to set the parking brake. I feel like nobody would have noticed this flare gun secret, but Epic added it anyway. If you shoot a flare into the sky and look at the bullet in replay mode, it has text that says, "Fire at 45 degrees," just like a real flare gun. Before it released, the item was teased in a short film at the World Cup. Nobody knew if it was an actual gun or just a prop for the movie, but if you looked at the crate, it had a number. Seems random at first, but this was the release date of Season 3, which would eventually bring it to the game. Some details are there just to make you feel bad. If you eliminate someone while they owned a wolf or a boar, their pet will literally have their heart broken. Now you really feel like a monster. So if you're rightfully arrested for what you just did, watch out, because it turns out someone actually owns the Fortnite police car. When they set up the real-life event in the California desert, the number plate gave us the model of the car, revealing the in-game model is based on a 1988 Dodge Aries America. For those who treated their animal with respect, they have an exclusive secret that only appears with lightsabers. Not only can you use them while riding a boar or wolf, but they even have a special animation just for this occasion. And that's not even the coolest secret that Star Wars has. There's only one person in Fortnite with a custom death scene, and that is Darth Vader. When you defeat his boss, he doesn't fall down like everyone else. Instead, he kneels before turning into blue pixels. And nobody has noticed the ridiculous amount of detail in the Witcher set. If you use his Igni sign emote while holding the sword, he'll he'll actually keep it in his hand and remove it from his backpack. And that's not the only special cosmetic, because players discovered a small Easter egg when they combined a regular emote with a collab skin. If you became Thanos in the Avengers LTM and then used the snap action, it would make the Infinity Stones flash. Chrome was only here for one season, but if you actually threw a splash at a chest, not only would it transform the look, but the loot inside would also be converted. Forget the items, because materials are even more important. This secret has been in the game for 5 years, and there's so many people who never noticed it to this day. It is very small, but if you change the mats you're building with, the blueprint paper will change with it. And if you're not harvesting resources, you could actually use your pickaxe to change the music at the DJ booths. Hitting the weak point will change the song track in the disco so you can play whatever you like. Bring some food to the party with the sizzling emote, but be careful because it can catch fire. If you wait long enough, you can start to see the food burning, and it's only a matter of time before they become flaming charcoal. There's even more detail put into the rift to go. If you look closely, you could actually see a small segment of the island, and that's because it works like a functional snow globe. The island has more secrets like this too. If a player is wearing a bush, moving to a different biome will change the color of the item. Sadly, this doesn't work nowadays, so let's hope they bring it back. I always wondered how superheroes keep their clothes, considering how often they rip them apart. Well, it looks like Epic had the same question, because turning into She-Hulk will take Jennifer Walters' glasses away, and if you turn back, they're still gone. Speaking of glasses, the Matrix emote has a super unique feature that gives any outfit a pair of shades, just like the scene from the movie. You just gotta appreciate the realism in Fortnite. Even something as simple as a drink has so much detail inside of it. Running around with a potion in your hand, you could actually see the liquid sloshing around, and it forms bubbles from the gas. That's just like how the clocks on the walls are always running. I mean, sure, they don't tell you the real time, but for every minute that passes, they move with it, and they even follow the day and night cycle. I'm pretty creeped out by the gnome pickaxe though, because swinging this thing starts off okay, but after a few hits, it giggles with the infamous gnome voice. So if you're creeped out by that, at least Epic didn't reveal your address. In the Zero Crisis finale, they actually put their location on the side of Terminator's truck. If you search it up, it takes you right to Epic Games HQ in North Carolina. There's plenty of things to say about the water in Fortnite, like how swimming against the stream is slower, but the real challenge is trying to drown yourself. It's tough, but it's actually possible, and you'll lose health over time. In case you're some kind of psycho, no, this doesn't work on animals. They're totally fine and will despawn if you tried this experiment with them, which you gotta appreciate. That is just like the different sitting positions that affects dozens of skins. Depending on the gender of your Fortnite outfit, they will sit differently when using a chair emote, from Pac-Man to Laserbeam's lunch break, even Black Adam's throne is affected. But don't get too comfortable because you might have to run from a giant cube. Back when Kevin was in the game, if you got crushed or zapped by him, the text in the kill feed would be corrupted, showing his name as a bunch of flashing symbols. You can even measure how fast you escaped with the secret speedometer. There's only been a handful of these throughout the game, and they don't just track a car, but even players' running or walking speeds. And the new guns can even track how fast you dance. The heisted exotics use a wrap called Neon Pulse, which changes color over time. So if you emote around them, it'll speed up and flash even faster. A detail you'd only find in the files is the codename of the islands. They're based on Greek mythology and actually make sense to the story. Chapter 4 is named Asteria, which is the island that Apollo and Artemis were born on, referencing the prequel nature of the season. It's crazy how committed Epic is to immersion, especially when it comes to graphics. With RTX, you can see accurate reflections in water, glass, and even the scopes of weapons. I mean, so much work goes into tiny things we barely notice. If you didn't know at least 10 of these, make sure to subscribe. It's been Tommy, keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.